Disclaimer, this video will probably be heavy-hearted or frustrating, aggravating for a lot of Jimmy Uso fans. Jimmy's booking has been atrocious. I've made countless videos about it, constantly express my distaste about it, and I'm going to continue to do so because of the talent and caliber of Jimmy Uso. Going to waste is absolutely insane. We're going to run down a whole video about this. It's ridiculous. It's really painful, and it sucks to see how they use Jimmy Uso. Let's get into it. Originally, Jimmy's run actually as a singles started in 2024. This was his record, 0-10 in 2024, his first 10 matches. He did the whole, turning on Roman at Night of Champions in 2023 just for him to go back and become a lackey to Roman, and just for him to be taken out by Solo and his faction for 6 months. Just for him to return at Bad Blood, which I was so damn happy. I was screaming, jumping up and down when I saw Jimmy at Bad Blood yesterday in return, from being out for 6 months from Solo Sikoa's faction attacking him. Just for him to come back and help out Roman and Cody and set up a War Games match. And when Jimmy came back on SmackDown, he got the most insane reaction. It was very amazing and heartwarming to see, the love that Jimmy got on SmackDown, for him to further go in the ring and talk about Solo's faction and all that, and potentially setting up a War Games match, which ended up happening. And Jimmy also lost a singles match to Solo as well on his return match. I think it was the same day he fought Solo in the main event, I believe, just for him to lose anyways and get beat down badly. Pretty much to skip through, War Games happened and Jimmy was the MVP, no doubt. Jimmy showed the hell out. I was so damn happy when I saw Jimmy compete, and the Uso splash he did on, the top of the cage was the highlight of the night for me. Bro, it was just amazing to see. Sadly, Jimmy ended up breaking his toe in that match. Going back and watching this promo just makes my heart feel very heavy and makes me frustrated all over again. I don't like going back watching this promo. Pretty much Jimmy just saying it's going to be a new year, new Uso. I might go after the IC title. I might go after the US title. I might go after the World Championship title. Who knows? It's up in the air for me, but I will have a big year. And that's pretty much what he said in the promo. And to fast forward, for the January 6th premiere episode of Netflix, the SmackDown before, the Usos and Sami Zayn teamed up to face Solo and his faction, and this match just further frustrates me because Jimmy didn't even get any offense in. He was just selling all day for Sami and Jay just for them to be the hot tag. And it was like, bro, this is so ridiculous. I don't go back and watch this match because it made me pissed off. And now in the beginning of 2025, when Jimmy's singles run, kicked off again, he tagged with Cody Rhodes just for him to get left by Cody mid-match. He got beaten down by Solo's faction, and Jimmy also got pinned as well. And this is pretty much when I started to get a little bit more excited because Jimmy started wrestling Carmelo Hayes, and I thought hey, why not Jimmy and Carmelo Hayes get a series of matches? They have chemistry together, and I think it could work. It was pretty entertaining. They had about 2 matches. And this match made me very annoyed because Jimmy didn't even get offense in as much. And then also this match was pretty much just to further Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, pretty much. Another match I enjoyed, between Jimmy and Carmelo Hayes. But what happened? DQ, because Solo and his faction came and started beating down Jimmy and Carmelo Hayes. And then we get to the Royal Rumble, I did not like how Jimmy's timing there was very, very short. He came out swinging, but then he just started selling all day and getting beaten down. And just for him to go out in the most saddest way, he handshakes Roman. Jacob Fatu throws him out. Jimmy's no longer in the Rumble. That just infuriated me. And then we get to Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Jimmy wrestled against LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. Though he didn't get pinned, I was excited that he didn't get pinned, because I'm like, oh, they're stepping this further, man, this could be something, Jimmy's getting protected, And then after, Jimmy ended up wrestling Drew the following SmackDown, and I was thrilled about that because, Jimmy ended up getting a win, a roll of pins. So I'm like, yeah, at least Jimmy's getting some W's, this could be leading towards something. And then another following SmackDown, Jimmy and Drew wrestled again, This time, Jimmy didn't get the win. Drew ended up pinning Jimmy, and after the match, I think Jimmy ended up getting beaten down, badly by Drew. And then the following SmackDown, we got to this part, and I was very, very, very excited, because this is when Jimmy, was challenging LA Knight for the United States Championship. He's like, I want that, championship. And I was like, man, this was leading towards something, but this is going to lead back to later on in the video. And in the following SmackDown, this match made me so mad. Jimmy was here furthering Damian Priest's and Drew McIntyre's match for WrestleMania because Jimmy and Priest ended up tagging to take on Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew, which Jimmy was selling the whole time in the match. He didn't even get any offense in just for Priest to go and pin Shinsuke. They could even let Jimmy go and pin Shinsuke. Like, man. And then this backstage segment, this is when I lost it. Jimmy getting approached by Gunther to go and elevate his feud and Jay and Gunther's feud. Jimmy once again helping out someone else's feud that has nothing to do with him. And it pretty much confirmed that day that Jimmy wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. And then, the following Monday Night Raw, Jimmy showed up on Raw to tag with Jay to take on A-Town Down Under, which they ended up defeating A-Town Down Under, but Jimmy was brought to elevate Jay and Gunther's horrendous feud done by Triple H in WWE. I loved the work that Jimmy did in this segment. Highlight of the show, no questions asked. Jimmy went backstage hyping out Jay, pretty much, because they played a storyline where Jay's botching, they're going to put it into a storyline, where he's all sad and stuff, and Jimmy's playing his hype man, and pretty much Jimmy goes and slaps Gunther in the face to pretty much get revenge on Gunther for bad-mouthing Jay, which led to Jimmy facing Gunther and Jimmy getting beaten down, bloodied, and it's honestly ridiculous. I just hated this whole thing. Jimmy was just getting done so dirty. Just getting treated like a sacrificial lamb over and over and over again. And I knew this was going to happen. And everybody tried to say, this is supposed to help Jay and Gunther. This had nothing to do with Jimmy. Jimmy should have got a shot at the U.S. title at WrestleMania, and that was the plans. But it changed. Which led to Jimmy having a match against Rey Fenix and Solo for a Money in the Bank qualifying match, which Jimmy didn't even end up winning the match, and he sold the whole time. He didn't even get any offense in. Which then leads us to what's happening with Jimmy, getting stuck in countless Bloodline Vortex segments, and this is Jimmy once again furthering Jacob and Solo's freaking feud. My gosh. To end this off, this was Jimmy's planned gear to wear for WrestleMania to fight LA Knight for the United States Championship. Everything could have been avoided, but that didn't happen. They stuck Jimmy to play Jay and Gunther to be a lackey in that feud, elevated Cody and Kevin Owens' feud, elevated Jacob and Solo's feud, elevated Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre feuds, and doesn't get anything at all. Nothing. And now it's announced today that he's not even going to be at SummerSlam competing for a United States Championship. Absolutely pathetic. Don't ever question Jimmy Uso's loyalty ever. Because this is insane. He has to be the most selfless person. Because this is absolutely ridiculous how he gets treated And I'm going to continue to talk about this because it's absolutely treacherous.